Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra Unit 5.5 Notes, Day 2. Today we're going to be talking about real-world applications of systems of equations. Our learning target today is to be able to solve application problems involving linear systems. Now, if you need extra assistance, make sure to watch the Day 1 notes before you watch Day 2. Okay? So, Mr. Jones owns a farm where he raises chickens and bunnies. Okay, so those are the two things that he's raising. Mr. Jones lost track of how many of each type of animal he has on his farm. The only thing he knows is that there are a total of 100 animal legs and a total of 34 animal heads. So look to see where those two words are. Okay, we have total of 100 animal legs and a total of 34 animal heads. Assuming each chicken has, so each chicken has 2 legs and each bunny has 4 legs. How many of each type of animal does he have? Well, the first thing that we're supposed to do is we're supposed to label, identify the variables. So the two things that we're talking about is we're talking about chickens and we're talking about bunnies. So x equals chickens just because that was first, and then y equals bunnies. So we know that there are a total of 100 animal legs, so I know one thing is going to total to be 100 and another equation is going to be total 34. Okay, because what we learned in the first day is total is our equal and then there's a number that goes after it. So they said each chicken has 2 legs and each bunny has 4 legs. Well, up here is where we're talking about legs in that first equation, right? So the chicken has 2 legs, so that's going to be 2x. The bunny has 4 legs, so we know that 2x plus 4y equals 100. How many heads does each one have? 1. So if we do x plus y, we know that it equals 34. Okay, now that we have our equation, what do you want to cancel? I'm looking that both my x's and my y's are lined up. Now, we can cancel our x's if I multiply the bottom equation by -2. Okay? So then we have 2x plus 4y equals 100. We're going to multiply by 2. We get -2x minus 2y equals -64. Okay, and let's start combining. Our x's cancel just like we wanted to, and then we have 4 minus 2, or I'll talk about y's, so we get 2y, and then 100 minus 64 is 36. Okay, to find out what y is, we have to divide by 2, and then we get that y equals 18. Okay, so we're not done yet. We need to find out how many chickens we have because we just found out how many bunnies we have. I'm going to use the bottom equation, x plus y equals 34, and y is 18. So we don't really do anything in the first step because we're not multiplying. All we have to do is subtract the 18, and then we get that x equals 34 minus 18 is 16. So the final answer, how many of each kind does he have? He has 16 chickens and 18 bunnies. Okay, let's look at the next one. So Jessica and her family went to the Golden Buffet for lunch. There are a total of 6 people in her family. Well, that sounds pretty important. total of 6 people in her family. The cost of a children's meal is $6.95, and the cost of an adult meal is $11.95. They spent a total of $61.70. Now here's our question. How many children and adults are in her family? So that took a while to get to the two things that they're trying to talk about. But we want to know how many children and adults. So children and adults. Okay, so the two things they're talking about are how many people are in her family and then the cost of the meal. It doesn't matter which one we talk about first. Since the yellow was first, saying that there's a total of 6 people in our family, let's do that. Okay, we know that if we had the children and the adults, that it's going to equal 6, because that's what it told us. They said there were a total of 6 people. Now, in the blue, we know that a children's meal is $6.95. So we got $6.95x plus the adult meal is $11.95y. So if we add those two things up, we're going to get the total for their family. Okay. What do you want to cancel? Do you want to cancel the x's or the y's? I think it'd be easier to cancel the x's here, and when we multiply, we're going to multiply by negative, $6.95. So the first two things to multiply, the x and the y, that's going to be easy because it's just going to be negative 695x and negative 695y. Now for the other one, we're going to need our calculator, so let's get that out. We have negative 695 times 6. So negative 695 times 6, and we get negative 4170. Okay, now I didn't do anything to the bottom equation, so that's just going to stay the same. Okay, now our x's cancel. I think I know what this is, but I want to do it just in case. So we have negative 695 plus 1195, and we get 5. So 5y equals, and then I'm just going to double check this last one. We have negative 4170 plus 6170, which is 20. Okay, so to solve for y, we're just going to divide by 5, and we get that, oh, y equals 4. Okay, so that tells us how many adults there are, but we just need to find the children. So we know that we take x plus y, and y is 4. That's going to equal 6. Subtract 4 to both sides. Most of you guys already know this by now, but x is 2. So they want to know how many of each are in the family. So there are 2 children and 4 adults. There we go. All right, let's look at number 3. Rebecca works part-time at Portillo's and at Kohl's. She works a total of 400 hours. So there's a total of 40 hours. At Portillo's, she makes $9.50 an hour, and at Kohl's, she makes $8 an hour. Last week, she made a total of $342.50. How many hours did she work at each job? So I want to see if you guys can identify the variables and set up your equation. Okay, go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Okay, so I know that between the two jobs, it's a total of 40 hours. So that's the X plus Y equals 40. And then the 950X, she makes $9.50 at Portillo's. She makes $8 at Kohl's, and her paycheck was a total of $342.50. Okay, now to cancel. I'm going to cancel. Yeah, I'm going to cancel the Y's because that's going to be the easiest. So to cancel the Y's, I need to multiply everything by -8. So the first two are the easiest. We get -8x minus 8y. And then -8 times 40 is going to give us -300. I think I know it, but I'm going to double check it. 8 times 40, 320. Yep. So -320. Now the bottom equation stays the same. So 950x plus 8y equals 342 and 50 cents. Sorry, that 5 looks weird. Okay, now the y's cancel like we want. -8 plus 950 would be 1.50x. And then we have 320. So -320 plus 342.50. And that equals 22.50. To get the x by itself, we need to divide by the 1.50. And when we divide that by 1.50, we get a grand total of 15. So that means at Portillo's, Rebecca worked 15 hours. So we know what Portillo's is, so I'm going into the top equation. So we know Portillo's is 15 plus y equals 40. To find out what y is, we would just subtract 15. And then we get that y equals 25. So my final answer over here would be Rebecca worked 15 hours at Portillo's and 25 hours at Kohl's. Okay. How could I double check that I'm right? Well, I want to do the hard check. So I'm going to plug in the 9.5 times 15 because that's how many hours she worked at Portillo's. And I'm going to add that with 8 times 25. And these two together should equal $342.50. Oh, thankfully, I did it right. Okay. All right, let's flip it over. All right. Number 4, the sum of two numbers, x and y, is 47, and the difference between those two numbers is 15. Find the value of x and y. Okay, so the sum of two numbers is 47, and the difference between those numbers is 15. Let's take a look at both of these. Now, the first one is saying sum, and sum means that we have to add. What two things are we adding? Well, we're adding x and y. Is means equals, and they equal 47. Well, that wasn't too bad. But the next one says the difference between those numbers is 15. What are they talking about, the difference? Well, difference means to subtract. And we're saying that if we subtract those same numbers, we would get 15. Okay? Now, the nice thing about these problems is when we add them, look at what happens. Are those already opposites? Yeah, and they cross out. Now this is where we have to be careful because how many x's do we have? I have 1x plus 1x gives us 2x. Okay, and 47 plus 15, we get 62. Now to find what x is, we need to divide by 2, and we get that x equals 31. Okay, and we're not done yet, so now we need to figure out what y is, and I'm going to use that first equation because I have a positive y. So to get the y by itself, I'm going to subtract by 31, and we get that y equals 16. So real quick, I'm going to do my check just to prove that we're right. So 31 plus 16. Does that give us 47? Yeah. 47 equals 47, so yay, it's true. But we have to double check both of them. Does 31 minus 16, does that give us 15? Well, 31 minus 16 is 15. Yay! Okay, so our final answer, the two numbers are x equals 31 and y equals 16. All right, last one. The difference between two numbers, x and y, is 5, and then their sum is 241. What are the two numbers? Why don't you guys see if you can set this one up all on your own. Pause the video and good luck. Okay, so the first thing that we're talking about is difference. And remember that difference means that we're going to subtract. I'm going to subtract x and y is 5. So x minus y equals 5. Their sum is addition, is 21. Okay, well look, we added those up, so you should have gotten x minus y equals 5 and x plus y equals 241. So now that we have it all set up and ready to go, you guys are going to finish it off. So once again, pause the video and good luck. Okay, and you can tell that I did the check for both of those, and we get our two answers of x equals 123 and y equals 118. And there we go. Now, 5.5 practice B is your homework. Just make sure that you're reading your directions. Show all work on a separate sheet of paper. If you have any questions, please come find Ms. Carranza or myself because we would love to help you out. All right, well, this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra Unit 5.5 Notes, Day 2. Thanks for watching.